Hello, my friends. My name is Tom. Welcome back to King English Podcast. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that is very useful in daily life. It is about how to speak English naturally when talking about jobs and careers. We will learn how to describe what you do, explain your daily work, and even share what you hope for in the future. This will be a fun and practical lesson. Talking about your job is something that comes up in many conversations. It is important to know how to share about it clearly and simply. Before we start, if you enjoy our episodes, please share this video with your friends. Subscribe to our channel if you have not already. Give us a big thumbs up because it really helps us. Your support means a lot to us. So, are you ready to explore the world of work? Let's get started. Imagine someone asks you, "What do you do?" How should you answer? The easiest way is to say your job title. For example, I can say, "I am a teacher." It is short, simple, and clear. Another way is to say, "I work as a designer." Both are easy for people to understand. For example, my job title is English teacher. What about you? I am a presenter for King English Podcast, and I also work as a content creator. It is a fun and creative job. Sometimes people also want to know about the company you work for. You can say, "I work for a marketing agency." If you work for yourself, you can say, "I am self-employed." Being self-employed means you are your own boss. I have been self-employed at times in my career, and it gives you a lot of independence. Next, people often ask about your responsibilities. They want to know what you do every day. You can say, "I manage social media." Or you can say, "I help customers every day." These answers tell people what your job involves. If someone asks me about my responsibilities, I can say, "I prepare lessons and teach English to students." That is my main task. You can also use the phrase, "I am responsible for." I am responsible for planning classes. Another phrase is "my main task is." For example, my main task is to make learning English fun. A useful phrase to describe your work is "a typical day at work looks like." This helps you explain your daily routine. For example, a typical day at work looks like teaching 5 classes and grading homework. That gives a clear picture of my day. So remember, when you talk about your work, you can mention your job title, the company you work for, and your responsibilities. Now let's move to another part, your daily routine at work. People are often curious about what you do from morning to evening. You can start by saying what time you start and finish work. For example, I start work at 9 a.m. and finish at 5 p.m. This is simple and clear. Then you can talk about the tasks you do during the day. Many jobs have meetings and emails. For example, I can say every morning I check my emails and attend a short meeting. This is a common start to the day for many people. After that, you can mention your main tasks. For example, then I work on my main tasks until lunch. This shows the main focus of your day. It is also nice to add details about breaks and interactions with colleagues. For example, I usually have lunch with my colleagues at 1 p.m. or I take a short coffee break in the afternoon. These small details make your routine sound real and interesting. Here is a full example. Every morning, I check my emails and attend a short meeting. Then I work on my main tasks until lunch. In the afternoon, I have a few more meetings and answer more emails. I usually finish around 5 p.m. My own daily routine is a bit different. Every morning, I plan my lessons and then I teach students. After lunch, I teach more classes and sometimes have meetings with other teachers. I usually finish my workday around 4 p.m. when you talk about your routine. Remember to include the start and finish times, the main tasks, and any breaks or time with colleagues. This makes your description complete. Next, let's talk about your work environment. This means the place where you work. It could be an office, remote work from home, a hybrid job, or working outdoors. Many people now work remotely from home, like we sometimes do. You can also say, I work in an office downtown. If you have a hybrid job, you can say, I work some days at home and some days at the office. Some people work outdoors, like construction workers or park rangers. Working outdoors can be very enjoyable. You can also talk about the atmosphere at your workplace. Is it formal or informal? A formal workplace usually means you wear a suit and follow many rules. An informal workplace is more relaxed. You might be able to wear jeans. My workplace is usually informal, and we can wear comfortable clothes. I enjoy that another part of the work environment is relationships with coworkers. Are they friendly? Do you work closely together? You can say, my coworkers are very friendly and we often help each other. Or, I work in a small team and we are like a family. Here are some useful words related to work. Open space means a big office room with many desks and no separate rooms. Many companies have open spaces. A deadline is the time you must finish a task. Boss is the person who manages you. Coworker is your colleague. Client means a customer or a company you work for. Team is a group of people working together. Hours means you can choose when to start and finish your workday within some limits. So remember, when talking about your work environment, you can describe the location, the atmosphere, and the people you work with. Now let's move to a more personal topic, job satisfaction. This means how much you like your job. You can say, I love my job because it is creative and I meet many interesting people. You can also say, I like my job because it is challenging. Or you might say, I like my job because the people are nice. You can share what you enjoy most and what you enjoy least. For example, I enjoy teaching the most because it is rewarding to see students learn. What I enjoy least is grading papers because it takes a long time. Another example is I love interacting with our audience the most, but I enjoy the technical side of things like editing videos. The least sometimes people do not like their job and want to change. You can say, I am looking for a new opportunity. This means you want a new job. You can also say, I want to find a job with better pay, or I want a job that is closer to my home. It is okay to say, my job can be stressful sometimes, but I love the team I work with. This way, you can share the difficulties and also the positive parts. When you talk about job satisfaction, think about whether you like your job, what you enjoy the most, what you enjoy the least, and whether you want to change jobs. Let's go back in time for a moment and talk about past jobs and experience. People may ask you where you worked before. You can answer by saying something like, I used to work in a small company, but now I am in a large international team. This kind of answer shows your career path and how your work life has changed over time. Another example is before this. I was a student and I worked part-time at a coffee shop. Short, simple, and clear. It is also a good idea to talk about what you learned in your previous positions. This is important if you are applying for a new job because it shows your skills. For example, in my last job, I learned a lot about customer service. Or you can say, I learned how to manage a team. These sentences make it clear that you have gained valuable experience. Talking about your work history is like telling a story of your career path. For example, I used to be a salesperson and I learned how to talk to many different people. This is a valuable skill for many jobs, so remember, you can talk about where you worked before, what you learned, and how your career has developed over time. Now let's look toward the future. This is exciting because you get to talk about your dreams and goals. People might ask you, where do you see yourself in the future? You can answer with something like, in the future, I would like to manage my own YouTube channel full-time. That is a clear and confident goal. Another way to express your goal is, I want to become an expert in my field. You can also talk about skills you want to learn, which shows that you are motivated to grow. For example, I want to improve my communication skills. Or I want to learn more about digital marketing. This tells people that you are always learning and developing yourself. It is also nice to share your dream job. For example, my dream job is to travel the world and teach English in different countries. Or my dream job is to create content that inspires millions of people. Sharing your dream job gives others a picture of what you are aiming for and what makes you excited when you talk about your future goals. Think about where you want to be, what skills you want to learn, and what your dream job is. Now, let's change perspective and talk about how to ask someone else about their job. This is very useful for real conversations, especially when meeting someone new. The most common question is, "What do you do?" This is simple, direct, and polite. After they tell you their job, you can follow up with, "Do you like your job?" This shows that you are interested in them. Another good question is, "How long have you worked there?" This helps you understand their experience. For example, they might say, "I have worked there for 5 years." You can also ask, "What is the most interesting part of your job?" This opens the door for a more detailed and personal answer. Another great question is, "What is a typical day like for you?" Or you can say, "What do you do on a typical day?" These questions help you understand their work better and keep the conversation flowing. Asking these kinds of questions is a good way to start a friendly conversation about work. It helps you connect with people and learn more about them. So today, we have covered many useful topics. We talked about how to describe your job title, the company you work for, and your daily responsibilities. We learned how to talk about your routine at work, your work environment, and job satisfaction. We also talked about past jobs, future career goals, and how to ask other people about their work. This kind of vocabulary and these phrases are useful for many situations, such as casual conversations, networking events, and job interviews. Now, before we finish, I want to remind you to practice these phrases. Practice makes perfect. Try to describe your own job using the sentences and expressions we talked about today. You can even practice with a friend, a colleague, or by speaking to yourself out loud. The more you use them, the more natural they will feel when you are speaking to others. If you do not have a job yet, you can still practice by talking about your dream job or the kind of work you would like to do in the future. For example, you can say, "I would like to work in a creative field like design or media." Or, "I want to have a job that allows me to travel." This will still help you use the vocabulary and sentence patterns we practiced today. Let's also review some of the useful words we learned. Job title is the name of your position, like teacher or designer. Responsibilities are the tasks you do every day. Company is the organization you work for. Self-employed means you work for yourself and are your own boss. Daily routine means the order of activities you do each day at work. Work environment is the place and atmosphere where you work, like office, remote, hybrid, or outdoors. We also learned atmosphere, which can be formal or informal. Coworkers are the people you work with. A deadline is the final date or time to finish a task. Boss is the person who manages you. Client is the customer or company you provide services for. Team is a group of people working together. Flexible hours means you can choose when to start and finish your workday. Within certain limits, we talked about job satisfaction, which is how much you enjoy your work. Career path is the story of your jobs over time. Career goals are the things you want to achieve in your work life. And a dream job is the job you most want to have in the future. As you can see, these words and expressions can help you speak more clearly and confidently about your work. They are also useful for understanding others when they talk about their jobs. So, your homework for today is to write or speak about your job, your daily routine, your work environment, and your job satisfaction. Then talk about your past jobs or experiences, your future goals, and your dream job. If you do not have a job yet, focus on your studies, your skills, and what kind of work you want in the future. This exercise will help you remember the vocabulary and make it easier to use these sentences naturally in real conversations. Before we end this episode, if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to King English Podcast. Share this video with your friends who are learning English. Give us a thumbs up so we know you like this kind of content. And leave a comment below to tell us what you like most about your job. If you do not have a job yet, tell us about your dream job. We love reading your comments and connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this lesson helps you feel more confident when talking about your job in English. We will see you in the next episode. Until then, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep speaking English every day. Goodbye for now. Now, to make everything we learned more practical, let's do some role-play examples. This will help you see how these phrases sound in a real conversation. Imagine you meet someone new at a networking event. Here is a simple example. A. Hi. Nice to meet you. What do you do? B. Nice to meet you too. I am an English teacher. I teach students of all ages. Ah, that sounds interesting. Do you like your job? B. Yes, I do. I love helping students improve their skills. It feels very rewarding. A. How long have you worked there? B. I have worked at my school for 3 years. Before that, I worked in a language center. A. Wow. So you have a lot of experience. What is the most interesting part of your job? B. The most interesting part is seeing students gain confidence in speaking English. See how simple and clear that conversation is. It is easy to follow, and it uses the questions and answers we practiced earlier. Let's try another example, but this time with a focus on the daily routine. A. What do you do on a typical day at work? B. I usually start work at 8 a.m. first. I check my emails and reply to urgent messages. Then, I prepare my lessons and teach 2 classes before lunch. After lunch, I teach 2 more classes and then grade homework. I finish work at 4 p.m. I sounds like a busy day. Do you have breaks? B. Yes, I usually have a short coffee break in the afternoon. It helps me stay focused. You can see how easy it is to use the structure we talked about earlier. First mention the start and end times, then the main tasks, and finally the breaks or interactions with colleagues. Now, let's try a conversation about the work environment. A. Where do you work? B. I work in a hybrid job. I spend 3 days a week at the office and 2 days at home. A. That sounds nice. Is your office formal or informal? B. It is informal. We do not have to wear suits and the atmosphere is relaxed. A. That must be comfortable. How are your coworkers? B. My coworkers are very friendly. We often help each other with projects. Notice how you can add details like whether the workplace is formal or informal, and what the relationships are like with coworkers. This gives a complete picture. Now, let's look at an example about job satisfaction. A. Do you like your job? B. Yes, I do. I like it because it is creative and I get to meet interesting people. A. What do you enjoy the most? B. I enjoy working on new projects the most. It is exciting to see ideas come to life. A. And what do you enjoy the least? B. I enjoy paperwork the least. It can be time-consuming. A. I understand. Does your job ever get stressful? B. Yes, sometimes. But I have a great team, so we always support each other. This is a friendly way to share both the positive and negative sides of your job while keeping the conversation natural. Now, let's do an example about past jobs and future goals. A. What did you do before your current job? B. I used to work in a small family business. I helped with customer service and sales. A. What did you learn from that experience? B. I learned how to communicate with different types of people and how to solve problems quickly. A. And what are your goals for the future? B. In the future, I want to start my own business and be my own boss. This is a clear way to talk about your career path, your skills, and your goals. Another example could be about your dream job. A. What is your dream job? B. My dream job is to travel around the world and make videos about different cultures. A. That sounds amazing. Why do you want to do that? B. Because I love learning about people's traditions and sharing them with others. You can see how simple questions lead to interesting answers that keep the conversation flowing. Now, let's go through some extra beginner-friendly phrases that you can use when talking about work. These phrases are short, easy, and clear. I work in marketing. I am part of the sales team. I am responsible for managing projects. I work with clients from different countries. My job is full-time. My job is part-time. I work shifts. I work weekends. I am training for a promotion. Here are also some polite follow-up questions to keep a conversation going. What made you choose that career? What skills are important for your job? Do you work alone or in a team? Do you travel for your job? What advice would you give to someone who wants to do your job? When you use these kinds of questions, you show interest and make the conversation more engaging. It is also good to practice short answers about your own job so you can respond quickly and confidently. Here are some examples. I enjoy my job because I can help people every day. My main task is to design marketing campaigns. I usually start work early and finish in the afternoon. I like my coworkers because they are supportive. I want to improve my leadership skills in the future. You can practice these answers by saying them out loud several times. You can also record yourself speaking and then listen to check your pronunciation and fluency. 2. Make your practice even more effective. Try this exercise. Imagine you are introducing yourself at a meeting. Say your name, your job title, your company, your main tasks, and something you enjoy about your work. For example, hello, my name is Tom. I am an English teacher at King English Podcast. I prepare lessons and teach English to students. I enjoy my job because I can help people improve their language skills. Practicing like this will make it easier to speak naturally when you meet people in real life. If you want to take it a step further, practice with a friend. Ask questions about work and the other person answers. Then switch roles. This is a simple way to improve both speaking and listening skills. Remember, the more you practice these phrases, the more natural they will sound. Over time, you will be able to add more details and speak more fluently. So, let's review one more time. When talking about jobs, you can describe your job title, the company you work for, your responsibilities, your daily routine, your work. Environment, your job satisfaction, your past jobs, your future goals, and your dream job. You can also learn how to ask other people about their work using simple questions. All of these skills are useful not only for everyday conversations, but also for job interviews, networking, and making new friends. Speaking confidently about your work will help you connect with others and create good impressions. That brings us to the end of today's lesson. We have learned a lot, and you now have many useful phrases and ideas for talking about jobs and careers in English. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to King English Podcast. Share this video with your friends who are learning English. Give us a thumbs up to show your support and leave a comment to tell us about your job or your dream job. We always enjoy reading your comments and connecting with you. Thank you for watching and listening. Keep practicing every day, keep learning, and keep speaking English. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye for now.